Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Poland Daily History. Today we are at the city of Warsaw, particularly the region that was transformed into the Jewish ghetto during the Second World War by the German occupants. Today we will be speaking with our guest, Mr. Arthur Grubniewski, a tourist guide and historian about the 1,000 years of Polish Jewish history. Around the 19th century, Poland is known to have the largest population of Jews in the world, but after that they started immigrating to other countries, and I was wondering if you can tell me where are they going, for what reasons do they make that decision?
Exactly. When we talk about 19th century in Poland, we talk about three countries, but no Poland. So Prussia, Russia, and Austria.
All right.
So these Polish people, Christian and Jewish, were emigrating indeed to another countries because of the difficulties that they were facing in here. About 2 million of people in late 1800s, early 1900s emigrated to the US, another 500,000 to Canada, and other destinations were Brazil, and also after World War I, the idea of creating an independent state of Israel comes back. So in a moment when French and English enter territory of Ottoman Empire, they start dividing that land into Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, and then there is less and less land that stays for few more nations that previously were living freely in all the area of Ottoman Empire. So the territory of Palestine was divided into Jordan, which is pretty big country of Jordan nowadays, and then it turns out that this little piece of land is left for the Israelis, so the Jewish state will be retrieved once again. Jewish people will have their own country, but it's supposed to be for the Palestinians as well. So with such creation, we are doomed to have conflicts over there because Palestinians never lived in such a small piece of land before, and so as when it comes to big Jewish nation, they have to actually share very similar piece of land, separated with the walls in many places.
So you were telling me that the Jews started to immigrate into Israel, but it wasn't an independent state at the time, and I was wondering, when did the independent state of Israel establish?
So we must know that for Jews, this is very important, that the real state of Israel has never disappeared. Like for Polish people, we know that there was no Poland on the maps, but we know that there was Poland. Same for the Jews, but their state in a, let's say, official words map was not existing for like 2,000 years. Which makes this history even more amazing this way. And then World War II happened.
Of course.
And Holocaust, and now it starts to be obvious that this real formal creation with its own government is needed very much. With a different points of view, and these different points of view were created in Poland in between World War I and World War II. So there were many different political countries that were defining Judaism in a different way. And that was the different ways provided by the Jews about themselves. And that was the freedom that we finally could have in Poland. And then it was moved to Israel when the independent state was created on 12th of May 1948. At the beginning, a lot of Polish Jews over there, so Polish language was very common. They were even thinking of adopting Polish language as their national language, not Hebrew. And it was just a very little difference during the votes, when it comes to counting the votes, which will be the official one in Israel. And official founder of the state, Ben-Gurion, there is Ben-Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv. He came from Poland. And this is our in common history.
Jewish immigration to the Promised Land increased significantly after the birth of Zionism as a political movement at the end of the 19th century. However, an independent Jewish state was first created after the Second World War. Next up, we will ask Mr. Gronewski about the contribution of Polish Jews in the early years of its existence. You were telling me that a lot of the Polish Jews immigrated to different countries at the time, and I would imagine that it must have a ripple effect and they would go on to have impact on the rest of the world. I was wondering if you can tell me some of the more prominent figure that is the result of these Polish Jews immigrating to other parts of the world.
Well, that's a great question, Ben, and thank you very much. So many people come to my mind. I love to talk about movie industry, and in between World War I and World War II, once again, that our little golden age, when words movie industry was going into different directions. Then that was Polish direction, and very much affected by Polish Jews, of course, that eventually became very important till nowadays. So in a moment when in Germany we were having mostly horror movies, in Sweden more like geographical thing, in France they were more sort of impressionistic ideas movies.
Sure.
Then in Russia these were mostly propaganda movies. In the US these were movies about a person like Charlie Chaplin
Sure.
or Pola Negri. So it was the industry was about a person.
Right. Biographical kind of movies.
Exactly. And then in Poland we started to make movies about regular life.
Interesting.
Does it sound familiar?
Yeah.
I love watching Friends, for instance. And Warner Brothers.
Those were the Polish Jews.
Those were the Polish Jews who emigrated, and their ideas brought from Poland adopted very well in the US. So that very big movie industry, very big movie American industry, so that very big American Jewish industry has its original origins in Poland, and we are so proud of it. And the next person I would like to mention is Maksymilian Faktorowicz, a Polish guy. He emigrates to Russia, then quickly he goes to America, St. Louis, Missouri, 1904, and he invents mascara. He establishes a company of Maksymilian Faktorowicz Cosmetics.
Oh.
And then they told him, hey man, the name is too long and so difficult for us to pronounce.
Right.
Could you make it a little bit shorter? Yes, of course, Max Factor Cosmetics.
Max Factor.
Exactly. And we are proud of these people like of Polish people. And I'm 100% sure that these people were thinking of themselves, I am a Pole, I am a Jew, I want Poland to grow, I want Jewish nation to grow, I want an entire planet Earth to grow. And these are our in common roots.
Right.
And when it comes to nowadays separate Polish-Israeli or Polish-Jewish conversations, I would like very much to start these conversations with our in common roots,
Right.
things that we agree with, and then maybe go through much more difficult parts of our history.
Exactly. You can start by the parts where the Polish and Jewish history are so intertwined and take from each other's culture and start the conversation from there.
Yes, exactly. And this is what we tour guides may only wish when it comes to our politicians, because we have a lot of guests from Israel right now. They are coming in here. Some of them have non-Jewish, so Goy guides, and we are very happy to provide these tours to Israelis. There are a lot of Israeli guides in Warsaw, and I would like to say that I met some of them, and I like them very much.
As we can see, Poland has been for centuries the safe haven for Jews fleeing persecution. During the 18th and 19th centuries, the city has the largest amount of Jewish population in all of Europe. The two nations coexisted in peace until the Germans conducted the Holocaust. That's it for today. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. I'll see you next time on Poland Daily History.